So with this, it just pops them right off, and you can cut them right down clear. So basically what I'm doing is I'm beautifying Tony's woods here. This is actually kind of fun. Boy, this works really good. I think I'm going to deforest your land here, Tony. Today in the wood yard, we're talking about axes. Here we go. So today I'm back at my new best friend Tony's place, and we're going to talk about cutting tools. We're going to talk about axes and things like that specifically. Now Tony is an expert because he used to sell these. He used to be a sales manager for Fiskars, so this is the guy. If you want to know a guy, this is the guy. I'm here with Tony, and he is Mr. Fiskars. So he's going to tell me all about his toys here that he's got. These are just the cutting tools, so show me what you've got.
Well, Chris, you started out with the X27, and
Yep.
you said it was just the greatest axe you had ever used.
Splitting axe, yes.
Basically, it is the iconic. It's the iconic axe in the industry, without a doubt. Once you use it, you're stuck with it. I mean, it really works well. A little bit of history about Fiskars, though. What most people don't know is Fiskars has a great deal of knowledge on edge tools. Mm-hmm. One fact that people aren't aware of is they're based out of Helsinki, Finland. Mm-hmm. They're not a Swedish company like most people think. The other thing is the name is Fiskar, not Fiskars, like a cute mm-hmm. cat food or whatever. Mm-hmm. But one other thing about Fiskars that I was extremely impressed about is how old they are.
Yeah, they're a real old company, like hundreds of years, right?
372 years old.
Wow.
I mean, it's phenomenal. They're the oldest company in Finland, and probably within the top 20 in the world of still companies that are working.
Right.
They started out in the agriculture doing plows and shears, or agricultural type products.
Wow.
And then, as they went on,
So I would imagine their original products were probably all literally handmade, poured and pounded out, forged
tools, yes.
Yeah.
And they follow it through this. This is a forged tool as well, the axes. Mm-hmm. But basically, the reason you love this for several reasons is this head design. Mm-hmm. And it's a proprietary wedge and grind on these. It is coated. The head is molded, so there's no wedge like you have on a traditional axe.
Right. It's totally enclosed, so it's not going anywhere.
Exactly. It's solid.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, this handle, it's called fiber comp. Mm-hmm. It's actually stronger than steel. So that when
pound for pound, you mean, or
just in the makeup of it? Because if you miss an overstrike in here on a wood type axe, mm-hmm. more often than not, you're going to splinter or break it.
Eventually, yep.
Yeah, and this also absorbs some of the vibration mm-hmm. in here, and it's hollow. Mm-hmm. This is approximately 5.7 pounds, so the weight ratio and the balance is unbelievable. The power to weight ratio increases your swing speed.
Oh, absolutely.
Multiplying the power.
Right, and the weight allows you to swing longer.
Well, similar to, if we use the baseball analogy, going with an aluminum bat versus mm-hmm. a wooden bat. You just have that much more speed in it.
Exactly.
And it's hard to explain it, but you yourself have used it.
Yeah, and once you use one, you won't go back. It's one of those things that you instantly know what you've got. My brother, I told you, had one. And his boys would come up and do work, and he had some older splitting mauls, and then this one, and they would all fight over that one. Mm-hmm. So when he has his get-togethers, he said he needed more, so he's got 3 of them now. He went and bought 2 more, so when his boys come, they can all be productive all at the same time, and they can go for a long time instead of one guy getting tired with the big, huge splitting maul.
Actually, when we're looking at this particular, the X27, people love this. And then we came out, or Fiskars came out, with the new wedge, or the new splitting maul. And as you can tell from this, it's an 8-pound maul, mm-hmm. basically. some of the contractors told us that they wanted a head that was larger. And when you look at a traditional sledgehammer, this is a 10-pound sledgehammer.
Yep.
Versus the Fiskars.
So you can see up close.
So with this, it is much heavier, but if you're planning on using a wedge and a sledgehammer, this takes care of both of them.
Right.
Plus, it's a pinned head.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were concerned about flying off the handle.
Mm-hmm.
It has an overstrike protection right in here.
Right.
It has an isocore handle. What that is for vibration.
Right.
Because that kills a lot of people. Is when you're doing work with an axe or with a sledgehammer for long periods of time, it destroys your body.
Right, and that's the other thing I noticed with the X27 is that if you do overstrike, your hands don't go numb. You don't get that vibration.
That's exactly it.
It makes a big difference versus a wood handle or a metal handle. I've even seen metal handle ones. Isn't there one that's called the Beast or something? There's a super big wedge one.
Super big red one.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
That big, oh, that kills you.
Yeah, you'd be good for about 3 swings and you need to take a nap.
Exactly. So
Okay.
going along the same line here with the X27, for those viewers that are vertically challenged, there is a smaller version of this.
Except this
and
is
this,
it right here,
this
yeah.
is it right here, yes.
Right.
So this one's 28 inches. So
Right.
many people prefer using the smaller one. I like the big one just because I'm taller and it just feels right.
Well,
This
I'm going to
one-
try both of them out in a little while. A little
Okay.
later on, I'll swing a couple. I'll split some wood for you, basically.
Okay, not a problem. I will let you do as much as you want.
I bet you will.
Yep. The big thing, the differences between the axes as you're seeing here is one is a splitting axe,
Right.
one is a cutting.
Right.
So
I'll take that over there so they
take it
can
over
see.
so that the viewers can see.
Yeah, there's a difference. So this
The
one,
wedge.
this one, it's just smooth, whereas this one's got the wedge built into it. It makes a huge difference. This is what makes the wood pop apart.
That's correct.
Once you get down in a little ways into your wood, this flares fast, whereas this one doesn't flare. I don't know if you guys can see the difference there. So yeah.
A couple of the other things on all these axes is it is a proprietary grind on this edge here. You can sharpen it with a file, or we'll show you a device that Fiskars has come up with people who are afraid or not sure they're sharpening it correctly. But actually, we'll show it right now.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy this device right here.
I'll take that so they can see.
And what that allows you to do is if you hit a rock or something and put a nick in it, very simple, just put it, draw this across, and you're going to renew the edge.
So is that just a ceramic?
Carbide, it looks like, yeah.
Yep. Nice.
So, and the other thing is this is coated. So this, I've worn some of it off on here, but this is a coating here that helps in removing the axe from the wood,
So is
not
it
sticking.
So is it similar to a Teflon or something?
Can't use that name, but yes, similar to that.
So it's kind of like Velcro. You can't mention the name.
That's exactly it. The other thing is, you'll see this axe is 2 colors. This axe is a solid black. They're identical, except this is an older version, so you could see those in stores, but more often than not, you'll see this particular
And
one.
then this has a textured grip.
Textured grip, along with the flared butt, and a lot of guys like flared butts.
So there's the texture on it, and it actually has quite a bit of a texture to it versus the rubberized grip, which this is more of a hard plastic, and this is more of like a rubber feel to it, which those of you that have them, you know that. Mine just happens to have pink tape on it.
Well, that's okay. You're the rainbow color.
I just want to keep everybody happy.
Oh, is that it? All right.
So
So we have our 36 inch, we have our 28 inch, then we go to our 17 inch, and this is a like for kindling.
Right.
It has the textured feeling here.
But it still has the flared head.
But it has the flared head. So for safety purposes, though we've done a video on the hookaroon and picaroon, this one we did not show, and this is a small sappy hookaroon, picaroon, whatever you want to call it. And if you're working with, if you're doing splitting of kindling, you would hold that and then split this so your hands are nowhere near it.
Well, like you were saying before too about using this for pulling pieces.
When you have a sawmill and you want to pull the planks, you can use that very light. You can put it in your back pocket,
this is a XA2, whatever that means.
That's
and then
just the part number.
Here, I'll show the difference on this, the hatchet versus this little splitting wedge here. So again, here you can see the difference on the head. This is the flared one, so for splitting, and then this is more for chopping. And so this is the X11, which is a 17-inch, you said, correct? And then this little hatchet, that looks like about a 12, 13-inch or something like that.
That's 14.
14, okay. So yeah, nice.
Going along with the same sequence of axes, this is a new version of the axe with a different type of handle and a different type of head. And you'll notice the little hook in here. It is sharpened so that you can pull weeds or branches or whatever, and it will cut it. It's a very nice textured handle. There's a lot of ergonomic design in this.
So kind of like almost like pruning, you can pull
exactly,
it.
Exactly. The other thing is this little dimple technology here. Some of it has dimples, some of it does not. And the purpose for that is it doesn't give you calluses. And the areas that you need more grip has higher dimples. You can hold on to that. And
you can feel it. Yeah, it definitely grips. Now you see that it's on... you got the dimple technology on this large one, the large splitter.
On the Maul.
Yep, and then there's a couple other ones
all of the other ones that we're going to show you have the dimples and then the flared butt. A lot of people commented on how they like that because it doesn't slide off.
Yeah, that's nice. And then the other thing I asked you about is the Olympic circles there.
Yes. A lot of people have asked, and our product managers never told us what it was for, but it was kind of cool.
It's got these little holes here, and to me they just look like the Olympic circles.
There you go.
Maybe it's for added speed.
Aerodynamics.
There you go.
So we're going to go from the axes to machetes, or another form of cutting. Everyone has a machete, nothing new. We just utilize the new handles here. Once again, this feels a whole lot better. And as you can see, you got it.
Yeah, it's got a nice weight to it.
A lot of swing potential on it.
Yeah, and it's big enough handle.
You can use a two-handed.
You can use both. Yeah, you definitely can get two hands on it. Nice.
This is, we coined it the zombie killer. Basically, it is a machete and axe combination. So you could really, folks in Florida love this for their palm trees.
Oh, sure.
It really, and once again, just like you said, a double-handed.
Oh yeah, this one's even better for two hands. And it's got a little bit weight up front too. So hold your hand out. I'm sure it would take care of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a nice tool. And then this is another version.
This is a new one for the garden areas, or once again, a lot of these tools cross over into the sporting good industry, specifically the axes, the machetes, and even this type of bill hook. Bill hooks have been around for a long, long time. This one here we'll be showing our brush axe shortly, but it's the same thing. It's a curved angle that on the inside is sharpened. So you can either pull with this one, you can whack with this one. It has a serrated back for sawing weeds, branches. Probably not going to go through a lot of trees, but it definitely in a pinch can do a lot of damage.
Right.
And this comes in two versions. I think this is the 18 and there's a 13.
Oh, so there's even a smaller one?
Yep, there's a smaller. Women love it because this fits. This might be a little bit too big for their hands, but the smaller one really fits. At trade shows, the women were the ones that were saying it works well. The other thing is this edge right here, You can dig weeds
Sure.
in between bricks.
Sure.
Pull a lot of stuff. So it really is a cool
Yeah.
tool.
Well, it's good that they're thinking about women. My wife does most of our yard work at our house because she likes to do it.
At
Not because I'm
Fiskars,
lazy.
women are a big part of the business.
Yes, that's great.
Most women know Fiskars for scissors or for their
Sure.
crafting.
Right. Now this tool, this is the
You have a lot of practice.
this one I use a lot. I have one of these when we're beaver trapping. This is what we cut our little popple poles with. Absolutely love this little thing. My brother, when he first saw it, laughed at me because he had a Husqvarna Brush Axe, which is
the larger one.
Right, it's got a full-size handle, and then it's got a replaceable blade that's got like a U-shape frame that the blade sits in. But the blade is only about, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches most. But then he used mine, now he's got one of these. And
Well,
he does not use his Husqvarna Brush Axe anymore. He uses this.
It's the same thing. The flare on this isn't as pronounced as some of the other tools, but this brush axe is great when you're doing deer blinds.
That's exactly the other thing I use mine for.
When we are duck hunting, we use this for clearing the blinds or putting reeds up. Excellent, excellent tool.
What I like this for is, like you were saying, for deer blinds, and I've used this, like I carry along with me a little foldable saw. Either have a Heumann saw, or I have a silky saw that I use. And then Fiskars now has little saws too, I noticed.
They have a lot of them.
So I take a little hand saw, but it takes longer to cut, say a branch as big as your thumb, or maybe even wrist size, you know, something that's like that big. It takes longer to cut through it with the saw, whereas if I take this and I push the tree over and get some stress on it, and I whack it on the back side, 1 or 2 hits, I'm through. It's actually way faster with this for small brush. It's very, very nice.
That, once again, you're going to that power to speed.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Well, it's a nice thin blade. See, whereas a lot of people would take an axe like this, but to my way of thinking, why it works so good is you got this thickness trying to go through the limb or stick you're cutting versus that thickness. This goes farther, I think, if you whack it good. I mean, it just works better than an axe.
Once again, experience counts. Now, if you like that one, this one's even a little bit better if you wanted.
That is, this would be good for zombies too.
Yes. Unfortunately, this is not in the North American market at this point, from what I understand. It is only in the European market.
And this is an XA23, and you said you can get these, but it's going to cost you a lot because you're going to ship it.
They're $100 and some in Europe.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're pricey. Whereas this, you're looking at somewhere around under $40.
I think it was maybe 25, 30 bucks tops, if that. Yeah, I think it was in the mid 20s, somewhere in there.
And once again, most people also are not aware this brush axe here. One of the other subsidiary companies of Fiskar is the Gerber Knife Company. So Gerber has the same type of a knife or the same type of a brush axe in their green color.
So that's something I bet hardly anybody knows, is that Fiskars actually owns Gerber?
That is correct. So there's many different, and that was as of 2 years ago when I retired. So who knows now with consolidations and everything else.
Now, how many different products do you think are in the Fiskars line?
Thousands. There's cutting in scissors and in the forestry and in the axes. And do
you have an estimate as to just guess how many employees they have? It's got to be thousands.
I knew that it is thousands, both in North America and in Helsinki and in China.
Sure.
So there's, I can't remember, but it is in the thousands.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we've covered that. The only other thing which we were going to talk about is for some of the axe snobs that are out there, and these are great consumer, and they take a beating and keep on going.
Right. For everyday work, they're fantastic.
But when you look at the Slavic, or not the Slavic, but the German or German companies, or Switzerland or Finland, they are really into axes. This is a Gransford Brooks, or Brooks, I believe that pronounced. But when you look at these, this is an axe that, they shave with it.
Yeah.
Though this is a forged head, these are forged as well. One person makes this axe or one person goes from start to finish on making this axe. His name is on this axe. You can find out which person made it, but it is the ultimate type of axe when you're
I know these
you're on the high ends.
These are awesome axes.
That's their forest axe.
So it's a little forest axe, probably like about a 18-inch or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 17 or 18 inches.
Yeah. Yep. Made in Sweden. Very sharp. Very nice feeling. And like I mentioned to Tony, I can tell he paid some money for it because there's no nicks on it here yet, which means you haven't used it yet because he's afraid to use it. It is a beautiful piece though. Yeah. It is nice. Yeah, there's people that collect axes, and that's one of them that you hear about, that's the one that they really like.
Well, they also make a splitting maul that is really nice. I've gotten to use it, but they're very pricey as well.
Well, give people an idea of what this cost.
Right around, I think, $125.
Yeah, for a small little axe, yeah. And then some of the axes I've looked at, I know there's some that they're over 200 easily, some even 300. Yeah. And there's people that do make custom axes that are
hand forged.
Yes.
That's on the high end. That's a different customer.
And you're right. And it's usually not going to be people that are doing production. It's someone that wants to get something special and unique as a gift, or something that they've always wanted, and they finally deserve it, and they've got the money to do it, so they do it.
That's it. Well, one of your viewers, I think, Killinger, he makes the handles.
Well, yeah. Well, he buys handles, but he does fitting.
Well, I saw some of his handles are really nice looking.
Yeah. Killinger. He's got his own channel for you, by the way, Chris Killinger. You want to check him out. He makes a lot of really nice stuff. Very custom. He does custom leather work. So yeah, you guys check him out. Killinger, that's what he goes by.
Okay.
Yep. So let's do some whacking us a few things here. Let's get these things working.
Sounds good.
Okay, so now I'm in the woods, and we're gonna try some of these. I'm gonna start out with this one. We're gonna try some of these different tools. I've got them lined up in order that I'm going to use them, where I'm going to be doing some whacking of tree parts here. And because I'm starting here, what I'm gonna start first is I'm gonna cut these little branches off. So obviously that's what these tools work really nice for, is you can just come down like this and pop them off, which you can do with an axe too, but this is actually faster, and it's more, in my experience, it's handier using these little tools if you want to do limbing like that. So I'll show you another one on a tree right behind the camera here. So here's another tree that's got a bunch of eye gougers, things where you're walking around, you don't want to hit your face into the trees, or you can break them off like this, but they don't break all the way off. Whereas if you hit here and here, you can take off bunches of them at a time. And with a bigger one, you can pop them right off, and you can reach up quite high. Hand me that big one over there, the longest one. So now here's one that's the bigger one. This is the XA23. That's this one. And this one, Tony, hold the camera up high once, so you're kind of aiming up in here. So you can see it's panned down to the ground now, so you can see where I am. So I'm way down here, but I can reach all the way up here. And very easily, I can take all these branches off here. So it works fantastic. So now obviously here's another tree if you're doing brushing in the woods and you want to clear out all this stuff here that you have to work on. And again,
what are you using?
Well, this one here,
that's the machete.
Is the machete one. But you can see if I take my hand, I can break it off, but it doesn't take it off clear. And to break it off, they're really hard. I can't really, if I push hard enough I could, but I might cut my hand. Yeah, these are really on the tree. So with this, it just pops them right off, and you can cut them right down clear. So basically what I'm doing is I'm beautifying Tony's woods here. This is actually kind of fun. Boy, this works really good. I think I'm gonna deforest your land here, Tony. Look at that. Cleared it right up. And these little knobs too, you can come in here, like zoom in close on this one. See how I missed a knob here? So what you do is you just come like that, and you can, you can shear them right off. Here's another one right here. You see this one sticking out? You can see it, and I can hit it and pop it right off. And you can't do that with your bare hands, so go way up here when you just aim it up I have to have some swing room though. There you go. So yeah, you can reach pretty high. So you can clear out paths through your woods very fast with this. Is awesome. Now the other thing that's nice about a cutting tool, I'll show you on the next one. So now here we're in another area where there's some dead trees, and say I want to cut some of this brush out. There's a broke off tree here. So the way I use this brush axe is I grab the piece, because I'm right-handed, I keep this, I use my left hand like this, and I pull it and tilt it, and I give it a whack like that. And then here's another one that's got a busted off top. I come right down to the bottom like this, give it a couple whacks, and it's down. And I want to take down this white pine here that's got a dead, it's dead, so I'm going to cut it off and try not to hit my foot. But you bend it like this, get some pressure on it, and you come right down to the bottom, give it a whack, and it's off. You can see the size of it there. So cuts clean through. It's just white pine, which is easy to cut, but I've cut some pretty big stuff. We're going to come over to another tree, and I'll show you another one. So now we're on a bigger white pine here that I'm going to take a slice of. I'm going to try to hit it without bending it way up here, and then I'll show you the difference if I come down. So you can see if you want to come in close. I didn't give it everything I had, but it cut through enough that it was very easy to break off. So now I'm going to give it a big whack here. Nope. Yeah, it broke off pretty easily if I give it a little bend. So when I'm using my brush axe, this is a bigger one here, obviously I want to give it a try. What I say I do, see how I push down and get some pressure, so you get this to really have a lot of bend going here. So I'll push down on it and usually give it one whack, or two, or three. There we go. Never used this one before. This is definitely different. It's top heavy. Yep. And I was trying to cut down here. I should have used the end, but it cut it off. So anyway, you can do a lot of brushing with this.
No doubt you are a good whacker.
So there you go. We did some whacking. Now we're going to do some chopping. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the 3 different splitting axe / mauls, and we're going to use them. So I'm going to start out with the X27. That's this one, the big one. And then we're going to go down to the smaller one, and there's not a name for this.
28 inch, no.
28, just a 20.
This is the splitting in a 28 inch.
28 inch. And then this one, little guy down here, is the X11. Yeah, they need to get a name on that one.
Well, once again, that's no longer, you won't find the black ones.
Oh, really?
All the others X series, unfortunately, like steel, they don't match it. This is a 36 inch. Should that be an X36? And this is an X30, 20. They don't follow.
That's what I thought at first too, that this 27 meant that it was a 27 incher, but it's not.
Nope, it's 36 inches and this is 28 inches.
Right. Okay, well, aim the camera over this direction here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the X27. It's just a piece of white pine. I'm just going to split it. Hopefully I can hit it. I might be able to. Huh, looks like I've done that once before. Okay, so then I just want to see what it's like hitting the same piece with the shorter one, the 27 you said?
28.
28. Nope, I don't like it. I'm used to the longer one.
Don't blame the axe on your shortcomings.
Yeah, it works. Let me try one more here. I'll try a different piece. I think what I need to do is to not do a roundhouse. That's what it needs. See now the shorter one, see I'm used to my X27, my big handled tools, is doing the roundhouse, because I've always done it that way, and I'm pretty accurate. I can usually start a seam and work it all the way across and pretty much be within a 1/8 of an inch all the way across, because I've done it a lot. But this is definitely more accurate, probably almost as powerful, but because of the speed you can get with the X27, doing that roundhouse where you come all the way around, slide your hand down, bend your knees, and come down into it, this is wicked. I can get a lot of speed on it. So now we're going to use the little guy, and what we're going to do is use the small sappy to hold it, so I'm not chopping my finger off, because that wouldn't be a good thing. That would be a bad thing. You can come lots closer there, Tony. So like some guys will split a piece, they'll hold it down here and then they'll give it a whack, or they'll hold it and then they let go right at the last second.
Exactly.
So what I'm going to do is, this is intended to be able to hold it. You can hold your piece in place and then split. Well, it looks like I hit a little knot there. Try the other side. Somebody's giving me reject wood here. That's what happened. Oh yeah, so that works really good. So yeah, holding it that way you're not going to chop your fingers off. That's a nice little splitting axe. I like that.
It's very front heavy.
For camping or on a trip where you got to carry it through the woods, this would be nice.
And once again, can you chop with a splitting axe? Yes. Can you do it the other way around? Absolutely. It's just that it will take a longer time to do. If you're splitting and you're using a splitting axe on trying to chop a tree down, it's going to take longer.
Right. So here's the lineup of the three. You can see the heads are all basically the same. This one's obviously bigger, but they all have the wedge on it, and then the little sappy for holding, which is really a nice little tool. I'm gonna have to get one of these just for. This would be nice to be able to have it hanging when I'm doing splitting on my splitter, to where I can grab and pull pieces or to hold pieces instead of using my hands. This would be a nice little one to have. I think I'm gonna take this home with me.
Is that a little tip there? Or hint?
And I asked Tony before, what is the hole? It's for hanging it on your tool rack. And obviously there's a hole down on the handle where you can put a lanyard on it so that you can have it hanging on your wrist, let go, and then use your hands and then grab it again. So very cool.
The ridge is also for pulling and getting more traction.
Right. So you can pry with it, yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the Fiskars X27 and I'm gonna chop a piece of wood just like Jethro would do. We have a proper round on the bottom so they're not bouncing and hitting down lower, because this is about the ideal height to come down on your piece, I believe. So there you go. And I'm gonna take the big splitting maul and I'm gonna give it a whack with this one and just give you my impressions. Right away, my hands are hurting. It's heavy. Nice. This has got some force. But the big drawback, like we mentioned, is that how long can you swing it? This one you can swing for maybe an hour and you're going to be exhausted. You're going to need to take a nap. This one, you can go all day if you're in decent shape. All day. And not be dying. So that's why the X27 is the clear winner for me. But this is nice to have occasionally. Plus, like Tony said, it's got the big pounding head. So if you do need to put a wedge into something, if you've got some individual wedges and you're splitting, say, some elm, this would be really nice because you can use it for pounding your wedges into a chunk of wood. So in conclusion, I'm taking these home with me. No, I'm just kidding. No, Tony's got some other points to bring up about the Fiskars.
A couple other things we just wanted to make a note of, and that is all the Fiskar tools that you see here come with a sheath, whether it's a Cordura type of material or a plastic material. So that saves your edges on your tools when you throw them in your vehicles or your ATVs or whatever. I
find the reason I like them, the sheaths, is to protect me.
True.
Especially like on anything that's sharp, my chainsaws, I'm constantly snagging my pants, my sleeve. I've cut my arms, I've cut my hands where you go to grab it thinking you just push it all the way and you shouldn't. So I'm more worried about me than the tool.
Good point, good point. But one of the most important things I'd like to mention is every tool that you see here has a lifetime guarantee on it. So that in and of itself makes a huge difference.
So I've heard of people that have broken, because they've been prying with an X27, they actually use it like to pry and they've broke it. So they just replace it?
What you do is, in most often, unless they've changed the policy, is you take a picture of it, send it to the customer service department, and you will get a replacement.
And do you need to have a receipt or anything from where you bought it? Or?
In the past, you did not.
Huh, interesting.
All Fiskar products were guaranteed for life.
That's nice, because if you take this and you break the handle,
you're SOL.
Yeah, which is why it's so nice yet. He doesn't want to damage it. Where these are working tools, which is what that's what I'm about. I love these nice collectible.
Well, I carry that
usable.
In my backpack.
Yeah, it's nice.
So
and there's guys that collect axes, or they just have disposable income where they can buy really, really nice stuff. Most guys that are doing production work, they want this kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Or if you're doing everyday work in your garden or your yard or your woods, you want stuff that's just going to work, and it does. Okay, now, so I asked Tony a question, and I wondered if he had to pick just one or two tools out of all these, which one would he grab, and that's what he grabbed. What do you got there?
I have the X27 and then the XA23.
Cool. And why would you pick those?
The most functional for me.
Right, right.
You know, in the woods, both splitting in case of emergencies and clearing patches for hunting, any type of hunting.
Right, right. And my choices would be number 1, X27. Number 2 would be this brush axe, because I do have it and I do use it a lot. And it's nice and small. That's what I like about it. It's not as big as that. That would be nice to have, but this is nice to stick in a backpack or just have in the back seat of the truck wherever when I'm going. And then from there, my next choice would be probably this 28-incher or 27-incher.
In splitting or chopping?
The splitting one. I don't chop too much wood, and if I'm going to chop wood, I'm going to use a double bit axe just because it's cool, because it happens so rare.
That's true.
But yeah, they're all really nice tools. So all great stuff to have. So thanks for being here today, folks.
Thanks a bunch.
That's it. You know what you're going to do now. You're going to hit the like, the subscribe, the share button, and then you're probably going to want to go buy some of this stuff, because I'm pretty sure by now you're going to want it all, because Tony is the salesman and he's got the toys. So that's it for today, folks. Between now and tomorrow, when you come back to the wood yard, get out in the woods, get cutting.
Good night, Irene.